I'm going to break off a little bit here and talk about the H tag heading for this. Now, if I did the first option, I'd just be real simple. Air conditioning repair in Dallas or in Dallas TX. That's my H tag. I don't want to have it match exact, but it's similar on my first heading. And I'm going to point out here, we don't today put the city on all the internal pages H tags, just the home page, maybe a primary parent page. So if you had a whole section about, I might do it for brands, but if you had a section about heating, air conditioning, you might have it on those pages, but you don't want the city on every single heading because it looks spammy and it reads weird. Still have to put that, and we're just talking about these two items today, so I'm going to kind of stick specific to it. If I did that, I want to have it on there. If I did emergency, I want to have it on like that, emergency air conditioning repair in Dallas or whatever it is. Hey there, it is Nolen Walker. I want to talk to you today about perfecting title tags and headings for HVAC companies. So this is one thing of many things that's done, guys. As I tell you before, they grade every little detail, and it's worth it to have professional help so that you can get as high as possible in the rankings for as many keywords as you can, both on organic keywords and map placement. But I'm going to explain this just the same, and I'm going to go over it for you so you understand it, because it's kind of a primary thing. This is kind of the dummy gotta have stuff, and if this is messed up, then everything's probably messed up. And you can't optimize well if your title tag, H tags are messed up. Google gets more particular about this all the time because there's so many of your competitors that are out there that they can choose from. So what do? Well, I'm going to give you some examples of good tags and bad tags. We're going to go over some stuff like getting other keywords and cities, stuffing, and all that. So let's dive into it. So you may or may not know that there's a limit of 60 characters, and it's not a lot of space. This isn't to mean that nothing else will show up on the page besides what's in the title, but it's going to be your primary, and it's going to be where you build your content from. It's the place where you can go say, hey, the page is about this, and then you got to substantiate it in the content, pictures, videos, stuff like that that's actually on the page. The more competitive the area, the better this has to be. So I'm going to give you one that's a good tag if you're kind of seasoned, a little older site, some reviews, you've been in the marketplace a little bit. So here's the tag, the title tag, and I'm assuming you know where the title tag goes and everything, otherwise you wouldn't be watching this. Air conditioning repair in Dallas, TX, space pipe bar, space HVAC service. That is 51 characters, and it's a great tag for somebody who's a little bit older in the business. So let's say that you're not working well currently online, but you've been online for 3 years or so. Now, this is a competitive market, one of the most competitive in Dallas. So if you're an HVAC company in this market, this is a very difficult word for someone starting out immediately. So let's modify this real quick and remove the HVAC services and the pipe bar and throw on the word emergency onto the front of this. So it's emergency air conditioning repair in Dallas, TX. That's a good homepage title tag for a newbie or something else similar, maybe one of your other favorite repairs that won't mess up your homepage much, but allow you to go for it. Now, I'm going to break off a little bit here and talk about the H tag heading for this. Now, if I did the first option, I'd just be real simple. Air conditioning repair in Dallas or in Dallas TX. That's my H tag. I don't want to have it match exact, but it's similar on my first heading. And I'm going to point out here, we don't today put the city on all the internal pages H tags, just the home page, maybe a primary parent page. So if you had a whole section about, I might do it for brands, but if you had a section about heating, air conditioning, you might have it on those pages, but you don't want the city on every single heading because it looks spammy and it reads weird. Still have to put that, and we're just talking about these two items today, so I'm going to kind of stick specific to it. If I did that, I want to have it on there. If I did emergency, I want to have it on like that, emergency air conditioning repair in Dallas or whatever it is. But if I did emergency, since it's not the primary service for this discussion is air conditioning. So the primary service is air conditioning, but I went for something else slightly different off my title tag because I'm near it and I know that it's a little more difficult and more competitive for that primary keyword term, which I'm not saying you can't get, I'm just talking out the gate. then I might just go ahead and put the primary keyword of air conditioning repair in Dallas as my page, as my heading on the first, but my second one would be emergency. Because I don't want to make it look weird to shoppers to my site, but I still want to substantiate through the headings and the content what the primary keyword was told in the title. Does that make sense? So these are things we do. Now, if you're in a town of 100,000 or less, I don't care if you're brand new, older, get everything, and then you can loosen up a little bit. It might be air conditioner service and repair in city, state. So you see what I did? I added another keyword because I know I can get a little bit more because there's less competition in that town. And with all the other quality details that I've got going on, I know I'm going to get a few more keywords off my homepage. It doesn't mean this is all you're going to get. I want to talk about service description as well. Let's say that I'm the older guy and you're like, Nolen, well, first, I'll discuss description tag as well, but let's talk about this bad tag and it'll lead into it. So here's a bad tag. Best AC repair in Dallas, Fort Worth, Plano, Arlington. If you're not from this metroplex where we're located, these are the major cities that are the biggest ones here. We service Rudd, Train, Goodman, and Carrier, blah, 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 blah. Stuff, 150, 200, 300 characters. This is a violation, it's too much. The worst thing that I see here really is that someone will say best AC repair, heating repair, Goodman, Train, blah, 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 in Dallas, TX. So they're located in Dallas. They shoved the keyword city on the very end. It was separated by all this junk from the primary, which was AC repair. And it was also chopped off because they only count 60 characters. And they just royally messed themselves up by trying to shove it all in. The unanswered deal in here is like, but Nolen, we want more. Let's say that you're not in Dallas, you're in a suburb or whatever city you're in. You're like, but we mainly service this other town. I moved to this town because my kids went to this school, or we're in the suburbs for this reason, whatever it is. You just live there. And so how do you get the other cities? And we'll talk about that in a second too. But I wanted to show how you can't do this. This is bad, it won't work. But we want to do a description tag, and there's juries out on that. Some people like them, some don't. A lot of people don't put them in anymore. I still use them a lot. We would expand it here. So the older guy used the air conditioning repair in Dallas TX pipe bar HVAC service, but hey, you like emergency service, you like heating repair, you like this other stuff. If I'm off the homepage, I'm going to stay real primary, guys. I'm not going to talk about the brands. I'm not going to talk about the different parts I replace. I'm not going to talk about whole house stuff or mini duct split stuff. I'm not going to talk about all that other stuff because there's pages of content for that. I'm going to stick to stuff off the homepage like HVAC company, which isn't searched as much, but it's okay. Heating repair, air conditioning repair. I'm going to stick with those keyword terms that aren't going to necessarily have a separate page on them, and that people may need to see on the homepage to see what we represent, so it doesn't look weird that we're going after one off, whole house unit replacements. That'd be weird for the homepage because people would be like, well, do they service me? Do they do regular air conditioning repair work? So I'm going to stick with the primary industry words that people get in their mouth. Doesn't mean they don't type in all the other things. This is primary stuff, makes your site look good, and it goes for the main stuff. So if I go off in the description, I might add air conditioning repair company, heating repair company. I might add emergency and some other stuff in there, or you could do that on a separate page. But I can expand the keywords through the description. I still don't want the cities on there, and I'm going to explain that a little further too. So as things get more localized, you've got to do one of two things. This is really for another one, but since I know everybody's going to ask this question, you can't have one city page and have it work that well. The days of this is numbered and they're disappearing. You say, oh, Nolen, I know this guy and he's got all these city pages up. If they're rural, maybe, and he's been around a long time. Newer stuff is very difficult to get up, and the algorithm's very much removing these as time goes on. If you really want that other location to happen, you really need an actual location there, and then you build out an entire subsection of the website with all the same keywords with completely different content. That's how you do it. Now I'll give you one exclusion. I'll still do this to this day. I had somebody sign up in a small town of 30,000, and the town next to them was 150,000. There's nothing else around them. And so what I do is take the one town, town A / town B, comma, TX, the state. And I put it in the content that way. And so everybody in that little area knows that he's in town A / town B because it's the bigger town. It's weird if you do this in a mega metropolis area like Dallas-Fort Worth, because the small town and the big town don't always work together unless it's two big ones, Dallas-Fort Worth. So you got to be careful how you do it, because it may sound weird, but you're out in the middle of an isolated area and you're in the smaller town, the big one, I'll still split it that way because there's really not another good option. Otherwise, you're stuck with going after 30,000 people for all organic content, for the map placement, everything. Map placement's due to Google anyway. Let me do one other bad tag. ABC HVAC repair. It's too short, doesn't have a city in it for the homepage. Nobody put any thought into it. Most likely when you see stuff like this, there's no content on any of the pages anyway, and the whole thing's just slopped up. If the content doesn't represent what you want to show up for, you won't show up for it. This is for sure true in the title tag. I want to talk about the structuring of the headings. You know, we talked about something like air conditioning repair in Dallas. If you don't structure your content to go with this, and there's more than one H tag and picture, maybe video, and then it H tag, H tag, H tag, H tag, H tag, it goes boom, 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 bullet points, it won't go well. It won't work well. You can't just, back in the day you could have had a pretty sloppy tag that had too much in it. They would have taken it. There's just too many competitors nowadays. This stuff needs to be tight, clear, needs to be substantiated through the headings. The headings need to be substantiated through the content. The content needs to be embellished with photos that are tagged well and all this. Of course, we do all of this for you. We'd love to, but this is a good little explanation of how to write one. If you're in a large town and you're new, what to do to change it up slightly. And then this is going to hold true for all the other internal pages, except remember on the other internal pages, be careful about putting the city at the top of the H tag on the top of each page. It doesn't mean you won't add it maybe twice into the content, but be careful because the whole thing will look spammy. But it is important on your homepage that people know you're from your city. It's in the header of the site. It's in the H tag. It's okay. It's important that it optimize well to do that in the first place. So hope this helped out. I hope you understand it. If you have any questions and you want us to be a service, we're happy to answer those questions. And I think that does a pretty good explanation of it. So we look forward to helping out someday, and make sure you do really tight, nice title tags, and you can follow up with description and even embellish upon description if you want. I'll give you one last one here at the end. Let's say that you want to tell people brands, but you don't want to write 30 brand pages, and you're in a small town. Write a nice page for, Train, Goodman, Carrier. Pick whatever main ones you use and put them in title tag in the city. Keep it in the 60 characters. Expand them further in the description, and then the title and the body content. Maybe the H tag actually says, we service most air conditioning brands and HVAC brands in the city, comma, or whatever it is, on that one page, and then you can have a heading for all these different ones and have a little paragraph about it. So there's a little one for that. That'll probably come in helpful. And if it's a smaller area, that'll probably work. So hope you enjoyed it. We'd love to be of service, and look forward to hearing from you someday.